Oh, so you waited until the last minute? Genius. Your situation is officially cooked, but lucky for you, I'm about to throw you a lifeline. I can teach you how to study last minute and still ace your exam. So shut down that little voice in your head screaming panic and guilt, because it's time to lock in. Let's turn this mess into a W right now. Step 1. Ditch the useless stuff. All right, let's be real. You don't have time to become Einstein overnight, so we're going full damage control mode. No fluff, just straight up survival tactics. And look, I know the panic is setting in. You're staring at a mountain of notes thinking, where the hell do I even start? Well, the fastest way to cut through the noise is by identifying what actually matters. So, check past exams, syllabi, and chapter summaries to spot high-yield topics. And don't be an idiot. If your teacher emphasizes something multiple times, it's almost guaranteed to show up. And if you're still feeling lost, that's where the cramming matrix comes in. And trust me, it works. Start with weak topics that are heavily tested, because fixing those will have the biggest impact on your score. Then, if time allows, move on to weaker but less frequent topics. Do a quick refresh of strong but important ones, and completely skip anything that's both easy and barely on the exam. Once you've locked in your game plan, it's time to actually start learning. Step 2. Practice smart, not hard. All right, you've picked your topics and locked in your priorities. Now comes the real work. And I hate to break it to you, but just staring at your notes isn't going to cut it. Think about it. You don't learn how to swim by reading about it, you get in the water. Studying works the exact same way. Your brain only remembers things when it's forced to retrieve them, so the fastest way to make that happen is by testing yourself immediately. First, grab a practice exam, sample questions, or literally any problem set you can find. Try answering it cold. No peeking at your notes. Your brain learns best when it tries to recall something first, fails a little, and then reinforces the correct answer afterward. Struggling now means easier recall later. Next, if you got something wrong, perfect. That's not failure, that's just a reminder that you still suck at this part. Instead of sulking, write down the correct answer, figure out what went wrong, and move on. And if you don't have practice exams, don't stress. AI tools like ChatGPT or AI-powered study apps can generate quizzes and flashcards in seconds. So quit wasting time writing out study notes by hand. Let AI handle it. Step 3. Lock it in, no leaks. All right, the work is done. The mistakes have been fixed and confidence might even be creeping in. But if this information isn't locked into your brain, waking up tomorrow will feel like hitting a reset button on your memory. That's where multi-sensory learning comes in, because reading alone won't cut it. The more ways the material is processed, the better it sticks. A solid way to reinforce information is watching a video. A simple animation or real-world example can explain a tricky concept 10 times faster than staring at notes. If a paragraph has been read over and over with no progress, a short, well-explained video might be exactly what the brain needs. Watching it in action makes the concept click and reinforces understanding. Another powerful method is reading notes out loud. It doesn't matter if no one is listening. The brain processes information way better when it's spoken. Teaching a clueless friend, ranting to a goldfish, or even just talking to an empty room forces thoughts to be structured clearly. If it can be explained smoothly without hesitation, the concept has been fully understood. For hands-on learners, writing things down by hand makes a real difference. Not a full essay, just key points or a rough summary. Even quick scribbles help the brain process information in a new way. And when a topic gets complex, memorizing random facts isn't enough. A mind map connects ideas visually, making recall under pressure much easier. Before moving on, reinforce everything with a final proofing session by explaining it from memory. If any gaps appear, go back, review, and test again until they're gone. Step 4. Sleep like a genius. Right now, you might be thinking, I'll just pull an all-nighter and power through. But that's the dumbest idea you've had since waiting until the last minute to study. Your brain isn't a dumpster you can just shove facts into and expect them to stay. It needs sleep to actually process and store what you crammed in. Studies show that 7 hours of sleep is ideal for cognitive performance. So don't sabotage yourself by cutting it short. Here's the plan. Before calling it a night, go over your toughest topics. While you sleep, your brain keeps working, replaying and reinforcing whatever you studied last. Then, first thing in the morning, do a quick 5-minute review. This helps lock the information in. And if your eyelids start drooping midday, take a 20-minute power nap instead of downing another coffee. Science backs it. Short naps boost focus, improve recall, and keep you from turning into a lifeless zombie. Skipping sleep doesn't make you a dedicated student. It makes you an exhausted mess. So, don't be an idiot. Get some rest, let your brain do the heavy lifting, and wake up actually ready to pass this thing. Step 5, brain dump, is big W. You've made it to the battlefield, the exam room. You might be sweating, questioning your life choices and praying for a miracle, but don't let panic win. Instead, use the first 3 to 5 minutes of the exam to dump everything from your brain onto the paper. This means all the formulas, dates, definitions, and tricky concepts that you know you'll forget under pressure. Having them written down will free up your mental energy so you don't have to scramble to recall them mid-exam. If your exam includes essay questions, then use this time to quickly outline your main points, so you're not thinking on the spot. A solid plan will save you from blanking out, and it will help you structure your answers more efficiently. Trust me, you don't want to waste 10 minutes staring at the ceiling trying to remember what you studied 2 nights ago. Step 6. Never again. Let's be honest, you don't want to go through this stress again. Cramming can work in a pinch, but it's not sustainable, so if you don't want to live in a cycle of last-minute panic, then start building better study habits now. Even just 20 minutes of review per day can prevent this last-minute meltdown. And if you use spaced repetition, then you can reinforce material over time instead of trying to shove it all in your brain in one weekend. Believe it or not, this last-minute cramming nightmare is totally preventable with a solid game plan. Figure out why you procrastinate and fix it, so you never have to speedrun an entire semester in one weekend again. Was it a lack of motivation, poor time management, or not knowing where to start? Identifying the root cause will help you break the cycle, and it will make next time much easier. Because let's be real, I work best under pressure is just a fancy way of saying, I didn't plan ahead. Alright, you've got the game plan, but if you're trying to cram while your phone is buzzing, your brain is running on fumes, and your study space looks like a crime scene, you're setting yourself up for failure. So let's set some basic ground rules for studying. Lock in your focus like your life depends on it. No, you're not a robot, so your brain needs breaks to actually function. Try the Pomodoro technique. Study for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, and repeat. It keeps you locked in without frying your brain. And no, scrolling through your phone during your break is not a refresh. That's just a shortcut to getting nothing done. Speaking of distractions, put your phone in exile. Let's not pretend you need to quickly check anything. We both know that's a one-way ticket to a 45-minute internet spiral, 6 Wikipedia deep dives, and suddenly researching the history of the Roman Empire for no reason. Just put it on airplane mode, or better yet, throw it in another room. Now, set yourself up with a real study spot. Find somewhere quiet where your brain can actually focus, without your siblings, roommates, or a million distractions in the background. Hate silence? No problem. Play instrumental music, white noise, or nature sounds. Just don't accidentally turn it into a karaoke session. Your brain needs stimulation, not a full-blown concert. And don't forget to fuel up the right way. I get it. Stress eating a whole bag of chips sounds amazing, but that's just a shortcut to feeling like trash. Nuts, dark chocolate, or literally anything that won't turn your brain into mush is a better choice. And yes, coffee or tea is fine. Just don't overdo it unless you enjoy vibrating through your chair. Watching this video was the first good decision you made to save your exam. Now quit wasting time and put this plan into action.